Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of Black in the Saddle podcast. I am your host, Abriana Johnson. You know me. I am joined here with my lovely podcast assistant, Key Nee Equestrian on Instagram. And this is a little bit of a special episode. This season is about community, or really the theme is community. So we're talking to community members, organizations who are really truly making an impact in the community. I wanted to kind of take a pause in our conversations a little bit, or in our features, to really have a discussion about some of the things that we are noticing as the podcast has ramped back up, as we have gotten excited about additional projects and additional relationships that are being built outside of just producing this audio or video, if you're watching on YouTube, that you're experiencing right now. So I invited Key to have a conversation with me, because we have these conversations in our meeting every week.
All the time.
And I'm like, let's bring this power to the people, basically. So welcome for a second time to, well, first time on Black in the Saddle. I mean, come on now, but welcome for a second time to the show.
Thank you, Abriana. I'm really excited to be back. OG listener, OG podcast guest. So it's really exciting to be back in this new rebranded era of Black in the Saddle. So yeah, I'm really excited to talk about basically what we always talk about, but share it with our audience so that they can be part of that conversation as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So our weekly meetings normally start off with us at least sharing something good that has happened to us. I mean, we go over it on Winter Circle Wednesday, but it's like a whole thing about reading comments and stuff like that. So, Key, tell me something. It's Monday. Not a lot has happened, but what is something good that you are experiencing in your life right now?
So I had a really interesting Monday. I'm really excited that as I'm healing from a riding injury and riding that injury resulted in a surgery, I actually met a equestrian through my little sister who just wants to come and horseback ride. And so she'll be actually riding my horse a couple times a week, which is honestly a blessing in disguise. She just wants to ride, and she used to compete in show jumping. And I really want Maddie to be ready when I get back in the saddle. So, yeah, that is my Monday. And it was really, really exciting to just have somebody who just wants to ride basically how I did when I was a kid. So she is around my age and she's just ready to get back in the saddle.
That is awesome. That is awesome. You are literally able to, provide that experience for someone, that same kind of experience that you were looking for before you got Maddie, right?
Right.
That's dope. It's amazing how things like that come full circle. In the hey, you have the need, right? You need your horse to be fit, right? And stay fit, and not be a pasture puff. So
Like
that's
she would like to be.
she would like to be a pasture puff. She has no issue with the puff.
Right.
But ain't nobody got time for that, meds. Ain't nobody got time
Right.
for
You're
that.
still young, babe, and you want to be out here competing, but you don't want to work to get to the competitions. It's confusing for me, Maddie. But yeah, I'm really, really excited, and I'm hoping to incorporate her into my very busy schedule
Mhm.
starting next week. So,
Awesome. Awesome. One of the good things that's happened to me, I've had a lot of travel recently, and I was able to kind of just like rest and veg out over the weekend. And I think that really helped me get re-energized. I sometimes try to tell myself, like, oh, you should be doing this. You should be doing this. You should not be sitting on the bed reading the book. You should just be out and blah, blah, blah. And the weather's great and yada, yada. And, as we're headed into fall, we're not getting, a ton of good weather days. I mean, the last few days have been all right, but
It's hot.
yeah, it's been kind of hot. But, it's North Carolina. We can't count on that, right? So as horse people, we're like, oh my gosh, if we're not outside on a good day, who are we? And why have we wasted this time?
Feel that on a spiritual level, right? Because today was beautiful,
It
and
was.
I was stuck working, and I was the same way. As I walked outside to take my dog out, and I said, "Ah, so beautiful. I should be at the barn."
Mhm, mhm, mhm. But I worked with some high schoolers today, and what we talked about was how we restore energy and how there's, different buckets for how we spend energy, like physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And sometimes the same remedies don't restore each bucket, right?
Mhm.
And so I think for me, I had spent a lot of mental energy traveling and all this stuff and working with different companies. And I really just needed a day to just do nothing. I wash clothes and stuff, but um, that was something good for me and to like give myself grace and not feel some type of way about it. So that's a huge win for me, good thing that is happening. Um One of our conversations recently was talking about energy, right? Was about this project that we have going on. If you haven't heard us talk about it yet, or see it on social media. And you probably haven't seen it on social media because I had to roll it back a little bit. I had to roll it back
Right.
because we got too excited. Okay. We got too excited. But I want to, you, podcast listener, I want to introduce you to a project that we're working on called Moments. Um, Moments is a very intentional capture of the small moments in the lives of Black and Brown equestrians in order to kind of take back and reclaim how our narrative is presented. There's a lot of imagery surfacing now that makes it seem like there is a us showing up in this industry is a new thing. It's a new trend. It's a new fad. Um Maybe it's because, both me and Key are in careers that are very digital, online, social media based. So we see some of this stuff circulating a lot more than the
Mhm.
average person. But um I think that it's really important to not only support the people who are curating these images, if they are people of color, and to think critically about the people who produce this imagery who are not people of color. And when I was in New Orleans last week, I went to the Museum of Art. And when I go into a museum or literally anywhere, I'm looking for something with a horse on it. I mean, that's
Of
just
course.
why. I mean,
We're horse people at heart, so
right. Like, why else am I here? I did see a chair that had like cowhide on it, and I was like, I wish I could sit in that chair, but that chair is art.
a vibe.
Yeah, it was a whole vibe and right
Yeah.
in the corner by itself. But I came across this statue. Um, it was in the African section, and I could pull it up. Let me see. It was in the African. Look, there you go, right there. It says the Democratic Republic of Congo.
Mm.
Funerary equestrian figure. If you want to see it, look on the YouTube version of this podcast because I am showing it on my phone.
Wow.
But there is no date on here, but obviously this piece of art is incredibly old. And it just makes me think, we have art in museums um across the world, you know, that has relics showing equestrian figures in black communities, whether they be African American, wherever. And it's just wild how, there's just this sharing of information and imagery that makes it seem like we have not been here. And that is erasure to me,
Mm.
right? That is the lack of acknowledgement. Um, but on the other hand, when these images are captured, I can't help but be critical, wondering who is behind this image and how is the display? Is the display, is October, the day just passed? Is it Columbusing, right? Is this a discovery? Is it, um, the IP of someone who is not within the community? How can we change that?
How can we make that information or those photos actually benefit the community,
Right.
our community?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just because of my career and because of where we kind of are in this digital age, I'm just more cognizant of how things like this are presented. Um, because a lot of people don't practice discernment or like digital literacy. And it's like, okay, you take everything for face value and not really present it in a way that ties back to the community or benefits that community. There are a lot of, well, I won't say a lot. We've had Ivan McClellan on the podcast before, and he is one of the creators that I look at, and it may just be me being very picky, but I see the difference, or I feel like I feel the difference between his imagery and imagery I know that is not captured by people that resonate with that community or are truly involved with the Black horse community. So I just, you know, I find myself being critical about that or trying to look through a more critical lens. I've spoken with a couple friends about this because they are also in the narrative changing space. Shout out to Avery. And they know the difference. You know, they know the difference. So, what do you how do you feel about um moments? What does that mean to you?
Mhm. I think moments is the opportunity to present just, and I say average not to downplay the importance, but moments allows for the average Black or brown equestrian to connect with a piece of art. that is made for them, that they can feel the passion through the lens. And I think that is definitely what you're referring to, like when you can feel the difference. Like we have a passion through that lens because these are our people. And that is something that only Black and Brown equestrians can connect with. We can connect with each other through our adversities, through our lived experiences. And Moments allows us to capture the passion, the love, the everyday life of an equestrian and allow that to tell its own story and allow that to connect with equestrians of color all over the world.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the um I think media has just become so important in our society these days. That's why the podcast is still here, right? But when you look at different types of media, it's just like, how can we draw these parallels over more than just the sound waves, right? As you're listening to our voices, you are painting a picture of what it is that we're discussing. How can I give you this picture for you to look at?
Right.
Right. Um, I wanted to speak a little bit about our process to it because we got really freaking excited and
Dived in.
we dive right in,
Dived in.
okay? And shout out to Steven Pelzer. He was our very first model, and well, you were the first model, but Steven was the second model. But we, made investments, and it turned out to be such a good experience that I said, hold on a second. The last thing I want to do is put something out that is rushed, trying to make it by the holidays. Um, our the experiences that we capture, my work uh puts me on the road a lot. And I was like, oh yeah, it'll be fine. We can do this in between. Then reality came, smacked me on my ass.
We were making it work, but it was crazy.
We were doing a lot. And then like weather, storms change plans. The different venues, trail rides and things that planned on, capturing some images that were canceled and things like that. So we had to have a moment of discernment and say, okay, let's slow this down and change our production time. And what I'm so thankful, I'm so thankful for Key's flexibility because she was like, girl, clearly, because you ain't done nothing. Clearly, this
I
is
said
what's
it nicer,
happening.
everyone. I said it nicer than that.
But but when you have someone that understands the intention that you're trying to put behind a project, it makes it work. It makes it work. So um I guess I want to take a step back because this although we described how moments makes us feel that the purpose of it, I don't think we actually said what it was.
Oh,
So
oh gosh.
rewind a little
Rewind.
bit. So Moments is a coffee table book, a kind of visual representation of what these experiences are like. These small but still meaningful, still powerful moments that we experience as horsemen and women. The beautiful thing that I am excited about for the Black in the Saddle community is that this book in particular is truly a collaborative effort, right? And one of the things that grinds my gears when it comes to the representation of Black people in this industry is that we are often tokenized and not always compensated for
Mm,
the work. So, for for every contributor to the Moments collection, they are compensated for their work, and they also have the opportunity to be a affiliate, have an affiliate code for that, so they get a percentage of every sale that is sold through their code, every purchase that is made through their code, through their link. So I think this opportunity for a collective production, I'm just not sure that it has been done before.
So exciting.
Yeah, like
So exciting.
I'm not sure that it has been done in this way. And I think that community is a lot of times what we tend to miss when it comes to how to produce something. And like I said at the very beginning of this episode, this season is about community, right? This season is about connection and really drawing people together towards a common goal. Speaking of that, kind of segueing into that, when we talk about community, our fireside chats, I've honestly been blown away by the level of conversation we've been able to have over the last I mean, all of them. Um, what do you notice that is kind of happening in the Black in the Saddle community with the people that really speak up and have something to share?
So I noticed like two sides within our growing community. There's one side that's finally like, wait, the people that have been on the scene, how are they contributing back to the Black and Brown communities? And I think that's a really big conversation that everyone wants to tiptoe around. And then our our growing community is moving in and saying, you know what? It's our job. We're gonna be the ones that speak up. And I don't think that you always have to carry the responsibility of like your community. That is a personal choice, but I think that you can't performatively do it as well. Don't
Yeah.
say you're with the community and how are you giving it back, and nobody can actually answer that for you, because just representation is not, it's not always enough if we're going to be honest, because we're battling against erasure, we're battling against just the already the biases and everything like that. So there's more work that has to be done than just representation, right?
Yeah.
And so in our community, through our fireside chats, I'm starting to see people connecting
Mm-hmm.
and actual relationships growing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also building relationships. And I'm seeing that there are even children who are being positively impacted by the connections that their parents are building,
Mm-hmm.
or teenagers who are later even still getting impacted by the small conversations that we're having. Like, these are maybe hour 2 hour, okay, our conversations do go on long. And I mean, it's a Black community, our conversations go on long.
Right. We gonna have a foot in the car, one foot out, still saying bye. I'm like, okay, log up. Okay.
Not yet. Oh, that's a good point. And then we get right back into it. So, I'm starting to see an actual impact, because I know everyone remembers when, when the unfortunate happenings of George Floyd happened, and everyone saw marketing jumping right on, like, let me get this Black writer, let me get this Black writer, let me get this Black writer. But what has come of that since that year?
Right.
And so now we have this platform and we are growing this community that can say, well, this is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
Because we can't, it's nobody else's job to provide us a seat at the table. We want to make our own table, and we're going to bring our own chairs and make our own names within our community. And I think moments builds into that. I think our community builds into that, and just allowing us to make our name clear and our intentions clear, that we've been around and we are still here, and will be here in the future.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, and we posed the question to our fireside chat. The last fireside chat we had beginning of October. And we, asked everyone else, like, what are you noticing going on in the industry? And there was a lot of conversation about how, the fanfare has died down, the amplification of Black voices has died down, the tokenism um of Black equestrians has just become a little bit more apparent, despite more people getting opportunities, which I think is still great. It's just about what level of impact or what expectation was had in regards to those kinds of relationships. But something that I noticed from the chats is the willingness for people to share their thoughts. When you are in a space with people that don't look like you and you've already had to fight hard to get there, there's not that much criticism that you have space to offer for that system that you have joined, right? I truly believe that the empowerment of, people online, offline, in these spaces where they might not say anything on their pages or whatever, but they come into this space and they're able to share their concerns or their experiences or reflect on them and get other points of view. I mean, that's huge. That's huge. That's not something that we had before. Right. And, I know that I come from a unique perspective of being like not non-disciplinary, just horse lover or experience lover, doing coaching with horses. Like, I just have a different lens. But I think even the people who want to be competitive are finding more space for the conversation and the processing of those experiences, where when before it had to be done alone. And I think that is like dope, first of all. But I think that, when we look at the broad scale of how do I want to change XYZ, how do I want to change this industry? How do I want to change? I look at the individual, but also the collective, right? I want people to be able to have these conversations. That is why this method of media is critical, right? Like, I'm
Right.
literally bringing people on here to have conversations. So I want to empower other people to continue those conversations in their own communities, within the Black in the Saddle community, with people that look like them. There's some people that do not have the same concerns that we have, right?
True.
They look just like us. But when it comes to, those really nuanced conversations, or like we last episode was with the crew. Okay, how are you seeking funding? How are you practicing discernment with the people that you partner with? Those are some conversations that you might not have in a space where nobody looks like you, because they don't have
Right.
the same lived experience.
Right.
Hey, Sapphire girl.
I
No
locked her out
dogs
the
are
room.
allowed.
I locked her out of the room.
Oh, she gonna be hot when
So
she
she's
goes
so
in.
mad.
um, but you know, dear listener, you may be wondering, like, okay, this is something that you said before. You said it many times. You say it on socials. You say it on um in person. I'm gonna keep saying it. Short version, this is something that needs to be said over and over and over. Creating space is important. You know, like he said, showing up's not enough all
Mhm.
the time. Showing up and, you know, I am down for the get down. There's so many equestrians that I'm seeing, you know, with brand sponsorships and additional like riding opportunities and professionals, they're them connecting with different professionals or being able to experience different educational opportunities, and I am all here for it. um, I want to draw everyone's attention also to the Black Equestrian Network. It is on the website, blackinthesaddle.com, blkinthesaddle.com. You can look at the resources. Black Equestrian Network is still a resource. You can still add your business, organization, or your personal, like if you are a trainer, you can add that to the Black Equestrian Network so that people can seek out and intentionally spend their dollars with businesses in the horse industry that are Black owned. And we do check to verify that it is Black owned. Um, but this is just so important to me because out of sight, out of mind, right? If you don't see them, you don't come across them, you never know they're there. How
Yeah.
are you even going to know? And so as we go into the holidays, go into Thanksgiving and Christmas holidays, we want to put together, like we did a couple years ago, put together a gift guide. Um this not only is going to highlight Black equestrian businesses, but it'll also highlight kind of 2.0 um businesses owned by Black horse people. Okay, Abriana, what is the difference? For example, let me tell you. Um, my good friend Robert Bowden,
Ah,
he
amazing.
he's freaking amazing. Okay, freaking amazing, and he is the Fine Chocolate Man, or not the, just Fine Chocolate Man on Instagram, and he's a chocolatier. Right? So saying, hey, this man is a Black equestrian, but he also has, you know, this business outside of it that supports his lovely hobby of showing competitively. Um, that's what that's about. You know, so we'll have a gift guide and we encourage you to reach out. I'm pretty sure I'll throw something up on the website to get some capture the details and things. But we'll add you to the gift guide. It'll be online. People can scroll through and you know, support not only the Black equestrian, the Black horse businesses, but the businesses owned by Black equestrians, because either way, that is supporting continued involvement and engagement in this industry. So I'm excited about that too. I'm excited about moments. I'm excited about the collaboration and the support in the community. And I'm excited for our next fireside chat, truly. I look forward to them every month. And sometimes after I get off the call, I'm like, we should have these twice a month.
Yes, but they go so
But it comes up so fast.
so fast.
So fast. So fast.
And it's
So
always such a good conversation.
yeah. 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 I'm thinking of, which, you know, if you're in the Black in the Saddle community and you want to come to the next fireside chat, we'll be talking about this in the group a little bit, but I'll spill the beans here. I haven't even said anything to Key yet, but I'm thinking the next topic should be um what would you need, or just throwing out ideas, brainstorming. What would the ideal event look like for Black horse people, right? I'm not necessarily sold on like having a horse show. I just don't think that that can be my first event. Okay.
This is why Abriana and I bring different perspectives. We love it.
Oh, okay. Clearly, a horse show was the very first one.
I mean, because for somebody who competes, so like obviously like we're very different. Like you said, like you don't declare discipline or anything like that. Like for somebody who has competed in the past, who has always been the only brown person at a show,
Yeah.
I would love to have an opportunity to shout out a show that is literally geared towards Black horsemen, Black and brown horsemen around, like, because there is nothing more beautiful than creating a space that has never been created for you.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason why I say alternative perspective. Yeah. But it's because we come from different equestrian backgrounds. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely open to it. I'm just like, can I get an on ramp? Like, can we get some under our
Right.
belt
Yeah.
before? Like,
An intro event.
right. Practice run,
Like y'all
please.
coming in? Are y'all gonna come?
Right. Because I mean, I've watched the production of the Bill Pickett Rodeo, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, they have a lot. I mean, it has grown so much, and obviously we're not starting there, but
No.
anything we're gonna do it justice, right? Which is
Another opportunity to collaborate with our community and provide
yeah,
business to our communities.
absolutely,
So
absolutely. Um, yeah, I really look forward to the things coming up in the next year. Opportunities to continue to spread that support. I will also say I don't think that I mentioned, well, I know I didn't mention it earlier. The proceeds from um moments are going towards a grant program that will be debuting in 2023. I will drop the nuggets and have a little bit more of that conversation within the Black in the Saddle community before it gets published to the masses. But I think that that is the next step for Black in the Saddle, right? Being able to use the skills that we have, the production of media and this format that it's being published in, right? And redistributing that well back to the community for people in need, for people who want to ride, don't have the funds to do it, um, falling on hard times, or are in some sort of emergency. So excited about that. You've heard it here first, folks. But I want to leave you with this question. And I am challenging you when you finish listening to this episode, once you have gotten to the end, I want you to head over to our Instagram or Facebook. Um, and I want you to tell us, what have you noticed since, let's say 2020, 2019, okay? Because that's when the podcast started. What have you noticed over the past 3 years, kind of before 2020 and after 2020? What have you noticed as far as changes in this industry and like the direction that our industry is going based on your perspective, right? Based on the discipline that you ride, based on the career that you have if you work in the horse industry, um, based on what you would like to see. I guess that's the other side of it. You know,
Right.
what is currently happening and what would you like to see more of? I think I think we all have permission to think critically about the places that we want to be in. So head over to our Instagram, Facebook, send us a message, or yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Send us a message.
Slide into our DMs.
Slide into our DMs. I was just thinking, there's some content that I want to put out, and I might just pin that. Might just pin it. There we go. I'm gonna pin
Right.
it to the page, but that's only on Instagram. So if you are a Facebook baddie, um, just slide into our DMs and let us know what you are noticing. And I think with, my creative juices flowing, there'll be some new merch coming up. So we'll give a prize to the most insightful of us.
The first Black in the Saddle giveaway.
Oh my God, it will be the first Black in the Saddle giveaway. Wow. What does it look like to have a giveaway that's not just like this post, tag 3 of your friends, and share
Reshare
it
it to
to
your
your story?
story. But also, I've won a lot of those giveaways, so I ain't judging.
You know what? She said, I ain't complaining.
But no, like, please, let's start this conversation. And yeah, we would love to have our community wearing this merch and
Yeah.
sharing their story.
I was just about to pull out some merch I already had, but I am not actually sure where it is right now. So I'm
Oh
gonna
my
just leave
God, but get ready for those pics, guys, those model pics, okay?
right. Facts. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Black in the Saddle. Be sure to follow us on all the socials. Well, Facebook and Instagram. And head over to YouTube, subscribe to our channel there. And I look forward to having another conversation with you in a couple weeks. Bye.